Welcome, students of class 5. This is your social science class. I am Lily Case and I am going to be your tutor. Today we are going to begin with the first chapter of your lesson, that is chapter 1, the Earth, our planet. And this lesson is in the first page of your textbook. Now if you're ready with your textbook, let's begin. In this lesson, I'm going to tell you about the universe, what all are there in the universe. For example, the planets, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the heavenly bodies that we see in the universe. I'm going to explain one after the other, okay? So, the universe, you can also see the universe during a clear night. Whenever there are no clouds, if you look up, you see this clear sky, and those shiny dots that you see, those are the stars. Okay? Now, coming to heavenly bodies. So, I said in heavenly bodies, we have sun, the moon, the planets and the stars, right? Starting with the sun. So the sun is a heavenly body and it has light of its own. That means it gives out light. Because of the sun, we have morning. Because of the sun, we can also see the other heavenly bodies like the moon and the planets. Without the sun, it will be so dark and we won't have daytime or morning time. But it's all because of the light of the sun that we are able to see things around us. All right. Now this sun, it's a very hot ball of fire. All right. And then all the planets used to move around the sun. And because of the sun, we are also able to get heat. Okay. Without the sun, maybe all the water would have been in the form of ice and snow. So sun is very important. It gives us warmth. It also gives us light. And then we are able to see things because of the sun. Okay. Now coming to the moon. Now moon at night we can see the moon. But in the daytime we can't see the moon as clearly as we see at night, right? Because at night the moon gives the reflection of the sun. Okay, so the moon and the sun, they are face to face, and the light that comes out from the sun used to hit the moon, and then the people who are staying on earth, they see the moon so clearly. And whenever there are no clouds at night, because of the light, because of the brightness of the moon, even the night seems little brighter, right? I'm sure you have all experienced that. Whenever there are clear sky, the moon shines so brightly, right? So that's all because of the sun. Okay, so it's the light of the sun that helps the moon to shine as well. Now next is stars. Stars are another heavenly bodies. We have millions and millions of stars in the sky. Okay, and stars, they also have light of its own, just like the sun. They can also give out light, but since they are very far away from the earth, so they don't appear like as big as the sun. So from here we can say that the sun is much closer to the earth as compared to the distance from the stars and the earth. Okay, now next one is the planets. So altogether we have 8 planets. They are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn and Uranus. Now as you can see here, there is one light area here, right? This is the sun. Okay, so all these planets, they revolve around the sun, and then they revolve in a fixed path. All right, now this sun, it gives out light to every heavenly bodies. Okay, and that is why we can see the planets, we can see the moon, and also the stars. They have their own light, so at night we see them like twinkling stars, right? That's why we say twinkle, twinkle little stars, right? Because it is very small and it is shining bright. So it is twinkling little stars. Next is orbit. Now, as I said, we have sun in the middle and we have all the planets, all the 8 planets that revolve around the sun. That means they make a circular motion around the sun, okay? And they all have a fixed path called the orbit. Now, can you see those white lines here? This one, these are the orbits. So every planet, they have different orbits, okay? And then they don't change those orbits. They keep on circling around the sun at a fixed path without changing any directions, and every time they make similar movement. That means the earth takes 365 days to make one circle, okay, to complete one circulation. So say the Neptune takes another 2 more times than the earth. Likewise, they don't change their orbits. They have a fixed path known as the orbits, okay? So these lines you can see, they are the orbits. Venus have different orbit than the earth. Jupiter have different orbit than the Saturn, okay? So look carefully, this is the orbit. Now talking about the 8 planets that we have. So I'm showing you the image here. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Neptune, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. So of all these 8 planets, Earth is the only planet where human beings live. And the smallest planet is Mercury, and the biggest planet is Jupiter. Okay? And Mercury is also the hottest planet because it is very close to the sun. Why? Because the sun is in the middle and all the planets are revolving around the sun, right? So Mercury is very close to the sun. Then comes Venus, Earth, likewise, okay? So those planets which are very close to the sun, they are very hot, and those planets which are very far away from the earth, they are very cold, okay? And Earth is one such planet where human beings live because there is water, there are trees, animals and birds. All the things that the human beings need are there in Earth, which I will tell you in the next subtopic, okay? As of now, look carefully. We have 8 planets. The biggest one is Jupiter and the smallest one is Mercury, and Earth is also known as the blue planet because there is water, and Earth is the only planet where human beings live. Also, it is said that in Mercury, the scientists, they're trying to find whether human beings can also live there. Well, we are not sure about the story now, so let's not discuss more about that, okay? Now, next is galaxy. So I told you that we have stars. The stars have also light of its own. It doesn't need the sun to give out the light because the stars are already very bright and very shiny, right? So these stars, there are millions of them and they gather together forming a galaxy. See, what you see here in the image are the stars, okay? Here we just see them as a tiny dots, right? But actually they are very far away from the earth, and when we look at the stars from the telescopes are used to see the heavenly bodies, okay? So we see these galaxies. There are different names for the galaxies, and one of these is the Milky Way, okay? It's very white, very bright, right? So they have named it as a Milky Way. So actually galaxies are the cluster of stars, okay? It's billion of stars that are combined together, and actually the stars are very far away from one another, all right? It is very far. So when we talk about the heavenly bodies, we don't check the distance of the heavenly bodies with kilometers, like the kilometer from Dimapur to Mokokchung or the kilometer from Mokokchung to Tuensang. We don't count like that, okay? Since they are very far away from one another, we count them in light years, all right? So these light years you will study in your higher classes where you will understand even better, okay? So as of now, just know that we have stars, they are very far away from one another, and since from the earth when we watch them from the telescope, they look like this, okay? And these are known as galaxies. The name of this galaxy is the Milky Way, all right? So there are a lot of other names, but one is the Milky Way. Now coming to Earth. So out of the 8 planets, we have Earth where the human beings live, right? Now let's find out why the human beings live on Earth, why we have only one planet where there is human beings. Number 1, the blue planet. It is said that when we look at the planets from far away or from a telescope, the Earth appears very blue, and it is because of the presence of water, okay? So there are a lot of water on Earth, and that is the reason why human beings can live. In any other planets there are no water, so human beings, we need water, right? Every day we need water for planting, for drinking, for cooking, washing. There are so many uses of water, all right? Even the electricity that we have comes from water, right? So we need water, and Earth has that water for us. See, when you look at the Earth, you see that most of the area is covered in blue color, right? It is because in Earth, 71% of the Earth is covered with water, while the remaining is continents. That means it is a land area. There are mountains, valleys, all these things, okay? And the remaining majority of the part is water, okay? So it looks blue in color. So Earth is a blue planet, and because of the water, human beings can live. All the living beings survive in Earth. Next is oxygen. So oxygen is very important. The air that we are breathing now is oxygen, okay? So oxygen is found in Earth. So Earth is the only planet where this air called oxygen is available. If there is no oxygen, we will die, okay? Because only when we are breathing oxygen, even our body is working. There are different circulations in our body. Our body is working inside, which we don't see, and it works with the help of oxygen, okay? Next is ozone layer. Now, whenever the sun is giving out light to every planet or to every heavenly bodies, they just come with different harmful rays, okay? But in Earth, there is one layer called the ozone layer, which used to protect the Earth from these harmful rays. So whenever the sun is giving out light, then this ozone layer protects the sunlight, the harmful rays coming from the sunlight, and give out the light which is good for human beings. So we get the warmth, we are able to plant trees because of the sun. Because of the sun we can plant flowers, right? But we are getting the good part of the sun, and it's all because of this ozone layer, okay? If there is no ozone layer, the life on the earth will become difficult because we will be affected with different skin diseases, all right? Next is rotation and revolution. Now this rotation and revolution, it takes place in all the other planets, okay? Rotation means moving from one place. Revolution means moving around the sun, okay? So we have the sun in the middle, and then all the planets are revolving, right? So revolving means making one big circle around the sun, and rotation means moving only from its place, okay? So because of the rotation and revolution, we are able to have day and night, and also we are able to have seasons. Okay. Now in Earth we have natural sources of water. So these oceans, they used to pass on to different channels and they form ponds, streams, rivers, and so on. And then we have continents like North America, South America, which I'm going to explain in the next class in detail. All right. Now the shape of the Earth is sphere. Here you can see a round shape, and here is the sphere. If you want to know what is a sphere, then you just try to find out a fruit orange. Okay, so the shape of the orange is exactly like the shape of the Earth. Okay, it's not round, but it's sphere. Now day and night, I told you that because of the rotation, the Earth is moving, right, from its place. So whenever the sun is giving out light to those part of the Earth, then those area have daytime, and the area that are dark, that doesn't receive the sunlight, is nighttime. Okay, so because of the rotation, we have day and night. Now let's have some revision. Let's ask ourselves, okay, number 1, planets revolve around the sun in a fixed path called the answer is orbit. Next, number 2, the smallest ocean in the world is the Arctic Ocean, which I will explain to you in the second part of the lesson. Number 3, to complete one revolution around the sun, the Earth takes, the answer is 365 and 6 hours. Okay. Number 4, the planets shine with light from the sun, and the answer is true. It is the sun that gives out the light. And number 5, how many planets are there? I'm sure you know that by now. Answer is 8. Number 6, what percent of the Earth is covered by water? The answer is 71%. Okay. Well, students, we are done with part 1 of the lesson. In the next class, I will see you in the second part of the lesson. Thank you.